on 3 together, it just syncs the audio with the video if you need to. We're not just having fun. It's actually, there's a reason.
It's like the bodybuilders on stage.
Yeah. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. It's fine. It'll work.
Okay.
That'll, for when you sync the video to the audio,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it'll help you sync it.
Do you see how he's looking at when I sing it? It's good. All right. Well, let's jump straight fucking in. Welcome.
I literally have no idea what we're talking about, but
How many have you been a guest on many other podcasts?
I've been interviewed a few times. Yeah.
What's your like normal conversation that you have when you're interviewed?
Almost all of them are around business connections, like stuff like that.
Okay, well,
But
today's
I
no
don't-
different.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think I have much other value to provide. So it's
I mean,
yeah, it's normally
I'm
all
sure you
like
do.
business. That's it, really.
I'm keen to reflect at the end of the episode and see if the business related questions, if we take them in a different enough lens,
Right,
that
yeah.
you might not have had these conversations, because essentially the way that Tia and I do business sounds fucking lame to say. We're very feminine in the way that we run our businesses, and obviously we know that you are a very different kind of man
Masculine.
to us.
Yep.
And so when we were planning this interview, we really wanted to pull out from you things that we think women in our audience could value from, but equally like highlight the differences and how cool that is. But before we even do that, for anyone that doesn't know you, who are you? What do you do? Give us the story.
Most of you guys know me as Tiana's coach because that's you coming straight from her audience. Cade Robertson, obviously online coach. I own a gym on the Gold Coast called Zone Gym. It's kind of it, really. I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, online coach. I don't want to say influencer. That sounds douchey, but I do have like a few influencer contracts. And then, own the gym, online coaching, and that's it, really.
I love that.
That's the simplest roundup that I've ever heard you give for what you do. Normally it's longer.
Yeah, I feel like I've been on it, asked it enough times that now I'm just like, coach gym.
Simple.
See you
Yeah.
later.
That's all
it,
that
yeah.
happens.
Follow me on Instagram. And that's
I feel
it.
like in terms of looking at where you've come from and everything, like I know my fiance, for example, when he heard your voice, he was like, where the fuck is this guy from? So like, give us the route. Where are you from? When did you move here? How did you get into fitness?
I obviously born and grew up in South Africa. When I was around, it was like 15, 16, my family immigrated to Australia. So my mum, my dad, my brothers, everyone immigrated. And I still had a really big I was playing rugby back home. And I was like, I'm not fucking leaving. Like, I'm staying here. And it was a bit of an argument with me and my mom because she was like, you're only like 15, 16. Like, you can't make this decision. And I remember saying like, oh, well, how are you going to get me on the plane? And then, anyway, so to summarize that, they left South Africa and I stayed. So I lived alone there from around that age till about 20. So about those 4 or 5-ish years. Lived on my own, grew up, started studying at university after I played rugby. And then kind of made the move to Australia because I was like, South Africa's shit. Like, let me get to where it's safe. Moved over, went straight to the Central Coast where my family was. That's where my mum and them live. And then kind of my first job was a receptionist at the gym. Like I literally just went to the first gym I could find, asked if they had any work. They had the Saturday and Sunday night 10 p.m. close shift available. So I was like, oh, well, here now, so is what it is. So I like took that shift and then went to university and kind of just built my way up. Like I was working reception, studied at university, did my PT stuff, started taking group classes. I was literally taking like this 60-year-old group fitness class. And this was when I was like peak bodybuilding too. So I was like still competing. So I'd literally be like 5 weeks out from a show. I'm like helping like this 60-year-old grands with like the fucking Bozu balls and stuff. And that was my job. Most people only see the glamorous stuff now. They don't see me doing that. And then I got to like one-on-one PTing, started doing privates, a bit of online stuff. And then I worked my way up and I was like even the PT manager at the gym for a while. So like I was PTing, but I was also managing the other PTs, studying at uni. Then online kind of just grew and grew and grew. Made a lot of connections with like Clean Health, Jackson Pios, like started traveling to Bali, America, stuff like that. I was kind of just saying yes to any fucking opportunity I could. And then eventually I was like, I'm going to go to the Gold Coast. It's the best place ever. Moved here. And then randomly, me and Bono one day were like, we should just build a gym for all the connections we have. And I was like, yep, let's do it. And then did that. And that's where we are now, I guess.
Love that.
what I find most interesting about that is like the intuitive nudge of like, we should just do this, which in our realm or in our conversations would be quite a feminine thing to be like, I have this idea and I'm running with it. But then the traits of being 15, 16, like I moved out of home at 16, taking care of yourself and like being ambitious as fuck. Like that is a trait of a successful person, right?
100%. Like I have this conversation with other guys so often and I'm like, bro, when you've had to live on your own at like 15, 16, you were forced to make it work. When I'm like, now anything that happens, I'm like, I'm going to make it work. And if it fails, I've been in worse positions. So I'll just still survive. Like it'll be fine.
That's a big difference between Jared and I too. Like he was the same. He moved out at like 15 or something, or he got kicked out, if you will. But he like had to make it work, and like whether it was like living paycheck to paycheck or like just having to get a different job versus like I was comfortable in my own home, only child thing for like till I was 23, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to move out and have to like do things like. So yeah, I think you're definitely forced to make it work when you don't have another option, which is a good trait to have.
100%.
Especially as a business owner, I feel like.
I feel like that kind of leads into like we'll start getting into the questions that we've planned and whatnot. One of the areas we wanted to focus on first is like the difference of being a man in business versus being a woman in business, specifically because you are surrounded by such a network of so many different people in business who I'm sure do business in a multitude of different ways. But what have you noticed between the women that you know in business versus the men that you know in business and how you go about your business? What are the differences between a man and a woman in business?
I've seen like, obviously I have so many friends that are like quote unquote business coaches in both respects, females and males. I think you guys even work with with Riley, like as well. Yeah. So like I know all these people. And one of the biggest things I've seen is definitely the difference in how they approach the other person's emotions. So like girls are very like gas you up and like get excited and like answer all your questions, check if you're okay along the way. And it's like bang, bang, bang. Where like me and our other guys, it's like, you got to be way more direct, and the receiving male normally appreciates the directiveness more than they would like the fluffing around. Like, man, if I get on a meeting or something and I'm not going to say a girl, but like the person is like, you know, just kind of beating around the bush and be like, yeah, so like there's this opportunity and there's this. I'm like, bro, just fucking get to the point. Tell me what's going to work. All I need is the facts. I'm going to make the decision if it's going to work, if it's not going to work. Move on. Where a girl, it's kind of like they kind of like dance around it a little bit and like gas it up a little bit, and then they make the decision together kind of thing. I feel so. I think there's just more how the females approach the conversations. There's a bit more of like back and forth with like the emotions and making them feel welcome and like gassing them up, getting them excited. Where with the guys I deal with, it's just like straight to the point. That's that, and it's like done. Yeah.
Are you talking about when you're coaching people as well? Like it feels like you have a very high emotional intelligence on being able to tell.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely do that with the females and the males, but it's also different person to person. So like, I can kind of pick up what that person's going to respond to best and then go from there. Like I'm going to use you and Jared as an example. Like with Tiana, I'll normally just like lay out the facts and the table and the floor and like explain to you everything that I'm assessing and like what decision I'm making. Where with Jared, I'm just like, that's what we're doing. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not even giving him the chance to question, can we do different routes? I'm just like, that's it. Like that's the only decision. Where with Tiana, it's like, I'll let her know what we're looking at and then why I've gone that way. And then once you understand why, you're a bit more bought in and you're like, okay, cool. Like you understand that there's actually rationale and there's reasons, not just random guesswork. But like for the guy, you kind of just got to be like, bro, like that's what you do. Like just get the job done, move on. And that's kind of a better response, I think, between the females to the males.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference in like how we respond to things and how we take action based off of what we understand. Like I know I'm very like I will receive a direct comment, but like I'm so curious. I'm like, tell me why, tell me more. I want to understand it so I can fully get my energy behind it. Whereas I think maybe men are more willing to just like push through. And that comes down to conditioning as well, right? Like
I think so too. The way you've been brought up and all that sort of thing too.
And what's expected of a man, like to be the provider and to just like get shit done.
That's it. Yeah. I like there's definitely different guys, but most of them, it's like
Very
they're not
similar.
really going to question it as much. They're just like, okay, job needs to get done. Like, I'm just going to get the
Just
job
do
done.
it,
And move on. Yeah.
But where do you feel like that's potentially like, does that ever lead you to burnout, or does that ever lead you to a place where it's like, oh, actually, maybe I could learn something from?
Yeah, I've definitely like matured over the years of being in business and like having highly, highly successful people around me. I had this conversation maybe a month ago with one of the guys that I work with. He's like multi-hundreds of millionaires, whatever. And like I don't think I've ever spoken about this on a podcast, but in the point when I was building Zone, there was one day, man, every day was just back to back to back. Like we were painting for like 18 hours the other one time. Then I had to go home and like do everyone's check-ins, respond to like 40 messages, still do like try train, try cook. Like it was crazy. And I remember going home and kind of like breaking down, like, and I was just like, fuck all of this. Like I'm done. And I was like getting super emotional and like almost starting to have like panic attacks. Like I was just like, there's so much I need to do, but like I'm responsible for so much. Like I can't pass it on. And then I called this mentor and I was like, you've told me you had panic attacks like this before. Like what? Geez, sorry. I was like, what is the go? And he was like, bro, like it's going to happen. And like, in order to be successful, like you need to hit that level. And that's the reason why you will be successful, is because not many others are willing to hit that. And then he used this analogy that he like drew a line on the floor. He was kind of like, work yourself up to the line when you need to. And he was like, sometimes you even go on the other side of the line, which is like way too far, like proper burnout. But he was like, you just spend like a couple seconds there, like a couple minutes there, and then come back. But he was like, where it's bad is when you get to that line and you keep just hanging on the other side of it. That's when you eventually going to burn out and crash. And he was like, push yourself to that quote unquote burnout point. But he was like, but don't stay there for too long. Like you got to realize it and pull yourself back so that you can like kind of refresh and then go again. And I kind of started doing that like once a month or something. I'll take like half a day to just like not do anything, and then I'll be like good to go again. So it's, yeah, I definitely learned that there is a point of burnout, but it's sometimes good to find where that point is so that you know, okay, that's actually how far I can work. Now I can like start gauging like when's too much. And it's like, that's actually how I feel when I'm hitting burnout. So it's like you start to pick up on that, and you can then pull yourself back when you need to, or push yourself further if you need to.
I would say that's the benefit of knowing the fitness industry as well, and like knowing when things have an end date. Like when you're building Zone, you're not fucking going to be painting for 14 hours a day for the entire rest of your career. Like it has an end goal. Or when you're bodybuilding, like you're not going to be in this depletion stage forever. You know that there's an end goal. And so it might be contradictory for us to say from a feminine perspective, and this is where I actually love getting into the whole, like, sometimes people take the feminine thing too far. I think that it's not a bad thing to experience that sometimes, of knowing 100%. Where you actually can get yourself to, but then going, okay, if I'm going to continually chase the next thing, and never enjoy the thing, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Like
Enjoyment is a huge one, like that I've also realized. Like you need to stop and appreciate what you've done. Again, just don't spend too long there. Like, because I think that's where complacency comes in. So it's like, cool, hit your goals, achieve your goals, spend some time enjoying those goals, but don't sit there for too long. Like if you want to keep chasing more, like don't get complacent. Like have a couple weeks where you're like, fuck, like this is cool. Like every now and again, I'll sit back and I'll like assess how my week is and like what my life actually looks like. I'm like, fuck, like it's actually a really good life. Like a lot of people would kill to have something like this. So I'm like, appreciate it. But then it's like, all right, cool, back to work. Like get back into it. So
I have a quote or a concept that you might enjoy that I learned from a mentor that I look up to. She got like $100 million company, Alpha Femme, Melanie Anlayer, talks about 1 foot in gratitude and 1 foot in desire. And if you have 2 feet in gratitude, you're not going to move anywhere. And if you try and jump 2 feet into desire without having something planted, you're going to fall on your ass. Yeah. So it's like always taking that step and then planting, and then the next step and then planting. And
that's
I
nice. I love that. So it's like, you're still enjoying it, but you're also ambitious enough to like want more. Like,
because let's be real, people that have that ambitious trait, like can't settle.
they're not going to. They're not going to.
There's never.
Like,
someone asked me a few weeks ago. They were like, "Do you ever think that like, is there a magic number of like income, for example? Like, do you think if you were making 100K a month, like you'd be like satisfied?" I'm like, no, there's no way. Like, as a business owner, like if you have that like entrepreneurial sort of like mindset, I don't think you're ever satisfied. There's never a
no way.
like you'd be like, yeah, fuck, this is sick. I'm so stoked, but like, all right, what's the next level?
Yeah. Which kind of ties nicely into like considering you know so many people. Like I would say your network is one of your biggest assets.
100%.
And because you have so many conversations with people, like what have you learnt from watching people do it right and also watching people do it wrong?
Yeah, so much. I think one of them is the people that are doing it right were literally just doing it wrong but didn't stop. Like the people that are doing it wrong, they're only doing it wrong because they kind of got it wrong and then stopped, and then the last thing was like, oh, you did it wrong. But the guys that are doing it right, they literally did everything that the guys are doing it wrong are doing. Yeah. They just kept figuring out it was wrong and then trying it differently. Like I speak to so many guys and I'll be telling them something and they're like, yeah, I did that. And I'm like, fuck, like every person was failing and then kind of got their breakthrough. Like I haven't spoken to one person where whatever their business is now is their first business or it's like their first year and they just like smashed it like out of the park. Like every single one that are doing it right, they just kept doing it until they got it right.
What's that? Fail fast, fail often. Whatever.
Yeah. Fail hard, fail fast.
Yeah, something like that. Where it's like you just keep going. You need it for the lessons. Yeah. Like,
and the other thing, which I've recently got into this mindset, I'm actually so happy about it, is like the guys that are doing really well, they want to fail. Like they want to fail. Like you're not scared of it, which makes you do so much more because you want to. Like we had a massive offer like for a zone expansion, which would be huge for us. But I kind of turned it down and I was like, I need to wait a bit longer because I haven't made enough mistakes at this. That was literally what I said in the message back to him. I was like, I need to make more mistakes at zone because I was like, I haven't learned enough here. Like I was like, I can still fuck up so many times. Yeah. And I was like excited for that. Like I turned down an opportunity because I wanted to fuck up more here. And I was like, it's the only time I'm going to get to make those mistakes and the only time I'm going to get to learn. And I think the successful people, they're not scared to make mistakes because you literally learn just what not to do. Like knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do.
I think that's the difference between people who are in it for the long haul and for the right reasons versus people who, like for example, when COVID happened and the online businesses blew up and people got into business to make quick money and now you're seeing them burn out. Like, it's social media has this thing where when people have made a mistake, and then they finally get it right, they teach the way that it's right. Yeah. And then people go, I can just do the right thing and then it'll work for me, but it worked for that person because they made so many fucking mistakes first. And then it was right.
Yeah. It's such a journey, I think, is the biggest part.
Do you want to take the next question? I don't mind where you want to go.
All right. Well, we'll just keep on the business thing. What is your biggest business mistake that you've made so far, quote unquote, or business lesson? Maybe
I've made so many. I've made so many. I've like genuinely started from zero, even like less than zero, like 4 or 5 times, just in my time in Australia. Yeah. Like, man, I've owned a supplement company. Like that's gone. I owned a few other companies. They're all gone. Like this is my second gym. Not many people know that. Like the first gym was like I got screwed out of, and that's probably my biggest lesson is like, it's good to take people on their word, but you always got to have like contingencies in place and like go about it the proper setup, especially when businesses get bigger, no matter if someone's your best friend, no matter if what, like have contracts and money and like really get on the same page at the start, because at the start of a business, I think everyone's so fucking excited that you kind of just say yes to whatever everyone's saying. But if you don't have the same vision and you're getting a business partner, it's going to be really hard in the long run. So it's like one of the biggest lessons is pick your business partners really smartly, make sure you're perfectly on the same page, and to have the right like legalities in place, because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if it's your brother, your sister, your best friend. When big numbers come into play, people are going to look after themselves and you will get 100%. Fucked over. Like I'm
going to fuck you over. Yeah.
I've learned it, and I've seen it happen to me. It's happened to me. It's happened to other people. It's like people are going to look after themselves at the end of the day, and you can't blame someone for that. It's human nature.
Yeah.
But pick business partners really carefully. Make sure you have the same vision. It might not be perfect, but at least find the combined vision that you're both happy with, or whatever parties are involved, and then be careful with your contingencies for if you're gonna get fucked over or not.
My favorite part about you speaking about that though is that obviously when you got fucked over or whatever's happened hasn't made you run the other way and go, fuck everyone, I'm gonna do this by myself.
Just gonna say that. Was there ever from whatever experience that was where you did get fucked over to obviously there's multiple partners in Zone. Was there ever a thought of
there definitely, and I think what was good is I was very open because I've got 3 other business partners with Zone, so there's 4 of us. I was very open with the 3 of them on what happened, and I was like, I'm not going to let this happen again. Yeah. So I kind of just set the tone and the standard from the start, and I'm so grateful that the bad shit happened. It was back on the Central Coast. I was opening a gym, and I got kind of backstabbed in a few places and lost a lot of money. But if that never happened, 1, I would have still been on the Central Coast in this smaller gym. 2, I wouldn't have moved here, but I wouldn't have learned those lessons. Now I can bring those lessons to Zone and my future businesses and just prepare for it. So I kind of just see it as I paid a really expensive lesson then. I literally just paid for a fucking expensive course on what not to fuck up in the next thing. And so it didn't scare me off of business partners. It just showed me that you need to be more planned with what you do. You actually have to have set structure and be upfront with everything. Yeah.
Which is the key part of making a mistake. It's either a mistake or it's a lesson. You either and I think even in this space of people investing in learning about business and blah, 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 there's so many people that are that was such a shit coach or that was such a shit course. Or, but even if you learn what not to do,
it's worth it.
Valuable.
Yeah. That's always what I just see everything and I'm like, that's just me paying not to do it in 10 years' time.
Yeah. It's still an ROI. It's just a different sort of ROI.
Yeah, and I bet you make 10x more money because of it.
Yeah, 100%. That I don't know if it's me just trying to comfort myself, but I always tell myself, I'm like, nah, you're just paying to not happen later.
Yeah.
So, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I think we get into the more fun
fun for us because I'm like, Okay. I feel like what's a really cool thing to pull out of you is because you are quite masculine in the way that you do things and also surrounded by women that you see in business, what is something that you think women could unapologetically do more or claim more of? What is a strength in being a man in business that we as women can learn from?
Honestly, it's the upfrontness.
The direct.
There's so many times me and Lily get into the biggest arguments where she'll be saying something to me. I'm like, just fucking tell them. What the fuck? She don't know what to do with this. I'm like, just fucking say it. What? I get so confused and I get so frustrated because the females, they obviously take all the emotions into it and they don't want to upset someone. They don't want to say the wrong thing and blah, blah, blah. And they're not sure if it's the right decision. I'm like, well, have that discussion together. You know what I mean? And that's probably my biggest thing is I'm like, I don't think females should behave the way I or other masculine men do because I do think there's a benefit to females and males and being masculine and feminine. But I think some of the females, especially in business, can be a lot more direct and upfront. Look at all the super successful women. Most of the softer, less successful women will probably be like, wow, she's so direct. And some of them will probably even be like, oh, she's such a bitch or something. But it's no, they just they know what they want. They're going to get what they want and they kind of demand it. And that's the biggest thing I say to Lily all the time. Just be upfront. And anytime she's done it, it's come out positively. And I'm like, that's what happens because at the end of the day, people just don't know what you're saying. And even to the point of I was giving her some advice with online coaching and business stuff. And I was like, just say the price. You don't have to try hide the price of things for people. That's the price at the end of the day. They're either going to value it or they're not going to value it. Yes, 100%. Sales and sales psychology and calls, that all comes into play. But at the end of the day, be upfront. If you need to have a hard conversation with someone, have the conversation. It's way easier to have it and move on than it is to sit on it for 2 weeks.
Also, one hard conversation means that you don't need to have it like
later.
a million, not hard. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, one and done, and then you don't dwell on it anymore.
Yeah. And I think like as women, there's a way that we can go about being direct
Yeah.
and it's going to be very different to the way that you do it.
100%.
But there's so much fluff that we can just
Get rid of.
absolutely get rid of.
I think it's like, the conversation with female to female will probably be a lot nicer and softer, but it's like more so just the act of actually having the conversation. Like don't wait and like sit on it and blah blah blah. Like I'll probably be way more cutthroat. Like I'll do it all the time. Like if the boys in zone, like if there's something that I need it done and it's not done, I'll literally call them. I'll be like, where the fuck is this? Like I'll like be like, and like Lily's always said when she hears me calling my business partner, she's like, I would be so scared to be in business with you. Like she's petrified when she sees me on like Zoom business calls, because I'm literally just like, that's not good enough. Like we need to do it this way, we need to do it that way. Where I feel like girls, you can go about it like softer and a bit of like a roundier route, but it's more just actually have the conversation. Like don't just wait, like just have it,
get it out of the
and
way.
move on. Yeah.
I think a lot of women think that they're doing the right thing or they're taking care of another person by being or by not doing it or by like shutting the fuck up and like taking it on. But like the best thing that we can do, especially when it comes to a client, is tell the fucking truth.
100%.
And it's
like don't dance around the bush either. Like it's not going to benefit anyone. The client's going to get a quicker outcome if you're direct with them. They're going to be happier. The results there. Like,
or it's even like I remember this time where there was a client that wanted to re-sign with me and I knew it wasn't right. I was like, and I know if I coach you in this dynamic, it's going to do you a disservice. So I have to be the big girl and I have to say no to you, even if that makes you think that I don't care about you or I'm actually doing the most loving thing I can for you. But it's hard. Like,
but I think even to that example, that's what shows me the difference between the females and the males. Like I had the same thing with a client this week. I had an old client come back to me and he wanted to like get started really. And I was like, oh, like I'm probably not the best guy for this guy. But there wasn't even a part of me that thought, oh, he's going to think I don't like him or I don't want to work. Like I didn't even think of that. I just replied, I was like, hey bro, nah, probably won't work with you. Go with this guy. And I like sent the link and that was it. That was the end of the conversation. And I saw that he signed up with the other guy and I was like mad. And I messaged the other guy. I was like, fuck yeah, like look after him. But like at no point did it to me, was it like, oh fuck, I'm going to have to tell this guy like I don't want to work with him and I'm going to have to explain. I didn't even explain myself. I was just like, nah bro, like go with this guy. And I just sent the link and that was it. So it's like, that's what I think is the good difference between male, like the masculine and the feminine is it's the same conversation. It's just had a little differently.
It's the frequency for sure. Well, if we flip the conversation then, how do you as a man or someone that does business in a very masculine way, like what can you learn or what do you see in the women that you're like, fuck, I really need to do that?
I've recently, again, learned literally the opposite of that. So there's like, I feel like it's
context.
It's like a yin and yang benefit. Like if you listen to this part of the podcast, you're going to think I'm saying all the guys should be female, and listen to the start, you're going to think I'm going to say, but it's like a benefit. Like I definitely learned that not all males, females, etc. are the same. And like when I was using the example of you and Jared, you need to figure out how to approach situations. Like there's some people where I was like, okay, I actually can't be as direct because they'll get so defensive that they won't even see the point. So it's like, you need to have a bit of a softer approach for that one. So I would say, Lily would say, like, I learned how to understand other people have feelings. Like that's probably the way that I would describe it that I took from the females is I have no feelings in business. Like I have zero emotion in any business decision. And I pride myself on that. Not everyone is like that. And it took me 3 years to realize that, where now, like I'll say something to someone and like the person was getting upset and like would then send a message on the group and be like, oh, like Cade's always a cunt, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm just telling you to do this. And then what, like someone else would tell me, yeah, bro, but like it's the way you say it. I'm like, oh, okay. So not everyone appreciates like just being direct. Like some people, like I'll just call someone. I'm like, I won't even be like, hey, how are you? Like I'll just be like, get this done, like, and then like move on to the next call. But it's because I'm so busy that's like a small thing. So I've recently learned like to be a bit more caring is the word I would say to other people's feelings and like understanding like where they're at in their emotional intelligence, like, or even just how they take things on personally, emotionally, whatever. I'm still not very good at it at all. Like I'm still very blunt, but it's definitely helped me realize that not everyone is the same as you. Like that's probably the biggest thing. I was like, not everyone's the same as you, and I only learned that through the chicks teaching me.
I would call that being a good fucking coach. So like learning how to work with people,
different people,
and relationships.
Yeah, most of these are like, this is all in like a business sense.
Yeah.
In my coaching sense, I've always been like softer with some people, like harder on other people. Like you very quickly pick up how people respond to different things. Like even you, like with Tiana, like some of the things I will just be upfront and tougher with it and be like, no, like it's not what's going to happen, or like, yes, like we can do that. Where with other clients, like I would never directly say like no to something. Like I'm always like, it's like a full paragraph. Where for Tiana, I think you messaged me something like that, and I literally just said no or something like that.
Okay. It is what it is.
So yeah, it's a skill I think of balancing it all, like how you approach the conversations.
I feel like a good place to steer the conversation is definitely in like, do you feel, especially as a man and like in a relationship and protector, provider, all the things, like, do you feel that pressure in business from a negative standpoint? And how do you also balance that with your relationship to resting?
Yeah. I don't think I do.
Not well.
Yeah.
I said to Jess, I was like, Cade's the like hustle work 12-hour days type guy.
Yeah, I don't think I do rest. Like, yeah, I definitely feel the pressure, but like, I don't want to say I enjoy it because I don't think anyone enjoys 24/7 pressure. Like, I think that's a bit outrageous.
I think you're a bit nuts if you do.
Like, I don't want to say I enjoy it, but I definitely see it as like a more of a good thing than a negative thing. And I'm like, I can handle it. Like I can cope under it. I don't balance the rest side of things very well. Like I'll normally hit burnout, take a day or two, and then just get back on the horse and go again. Like wherever I am, I'm working. Like, man, me and Lily will go somewhere and it's like, I'll literally be in the car, like on my laptop. Like if we stopped somewhere, like I'll just quickly be on there for like an hour. Like we're in a parking lot at a shopping mall the other day, and like she was shopping and I was like on the car bonnet, like with my laptop, like just working. And it's like, I feel that pressure of like being the provider and like doing stuff. Like it's a very masculine, feminine relationship.
I feel like the nuance in that though is for a lot of women, the pressure is unproductive.
Yeah, 100%.
Versus like actually doing something that is moving the needle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Like I don't like sitting and like procrastinating on bullshit. Like it's just like, this is going to work, this isn't going to work. And I get very frustrated when I'm doing stuff and I'm not seeing like an outcome. Like I can understand if I'm planning for something, but like I need to do stuff and like see the needle move forwards and like see the outcome. So look, to answer your question, I don't think I balanced the pressure and the rest well. Yeah, hopefully I'll figure it out one day.
On that, in a way, and I don't know how Lily runs her business, but like from my standpoint, you don't really have client boundaries, like in terms of a structure around when you reply and that sort of thing. Like, so do you have like I take Saturday, Sunday off, or is it just like when you both have time?
Yeah, like, for us, like her and I, we kind of, our mornings are like our time together. So like we always get a coffee and sunrise walk, like no matter what, every day. And that's normally like, I'll wake up maybe like 20 minutes before her just to like quickly give everyone a reply. Like just like any like emergency replies that I need, I'll like just quickly reply to all of that. And then when we get our coffee and go on the beach, like we're not on our phones or anything. Like we just have our walk, come back, and that's it. She respects my hustle a lot. So she knows when I got to get shit done. Like it's a running joke at their house that like I'll never knock on the door and like either be on a phone call or like literally on my laptop, like walking into the door. So it's like every single time I go there, I'm doing something. But I think, we've found like that morning routine works really well. Yeah, I definitely don't have client boundaries, but I do I do have it in a sense where it's productive for me in how I operate my business because I get along. I'm fortunate enough to be in the position where I don't need to work with clients I don't want to work with. So like, man, I'll be 2 weeks into coaching and I'll be like, this person's not for me. And I'll just tell them like, hey, like I'll refund you. I'll cancel it. Like, I don't care. Like I'm fortunate enough to be there. I've recently moved all check-ins except for a few. Like I don't think I moved your guys, but like to Monday to Thursday. So I now don't have many check-ins on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday's like my overlap day if like any run late from Thursday. But now it's kind of like Saturdays I don't have any. Sunday I'll have like a couple competitors, like 3 or 4 competitors, and that's it. I made that shift recently. That's opened up my weekends a little bit to
more space.
To actually do something like drive somewhere and I not like I can have a couple hours not having to work.
Yeah.
So kind of open up that boundary a little bit, and then but it's normally just morning walk in the morning, and then like a dinner at night. We'll normally have dinner together every night too.
I feel like again the difference is if a client messages you something that you know I don't need to respond to this right now, how much brain space does that take up for the next 3 hours while you're not responding?
Hardly anything.
Yeah,
like,
whereas a woman is like
yeah. Sometimes I'll look at it and I'll be like, that's a fucking stupid message. And I'll just like, and I'll say to Lily, I'll be like, what the fuck is this person saying? And then like
later,
just leave it.
Yeah.
And then, but it also works when you know your clients really well. So like I know all my clients like very well. So I can understand when they need a reply and like when they don't. Like the other night when you messaged me and I was like, I'm just going to call you. Like I was at dinner, like I was at Lily's house about to have dinner and I was like, I just need like 30 minutes. I'll come back to dinner later and then I'll just go call you and then it's done. But then it's like, I had another client message me something the other day and I know that they get in like their head sometimes and like they get emotional, but it's for like 20 minutes and then they're like back to normal. So they sent me this message. I like read it. I was like, they'll send another one in 20 minutes. So I like just put my phone down, forget about it, go back 20 minutes later. I'm like, never mind, sort of my shit out. And I'm like, like once you know your clients well, you can kind of learn when to respond, when not to respond. I'll never be a dickhead and ignore them for like 3 days, but I'll, you kind of learn to balance it, I think.
Yeah, and some people take that boundaries thing too far where they're like,
they take advantage.
They're like, I cannot, but like, your client fucking needs you. Like,
man, I've never fully understood that. Like, I think girls are a little bit better with setting some boundaries because it takes more of their emotional like thought process. Like, man, if I had to hand my phone to a girl, like they'd probably have a heart attack. Like my phone is ringing every 5 minutes. There's like, I wake up to like 70 messages a morning from clients. Like that's, I feel like some girls would stress with that. But for me, I've never understood the boundaries thing, like because I love what I do. So it doesn't feel super hard. So
that's something I've learned recently too. I used to be so big on the like, this is the times. And like, I have times with my clients where I'm like, you message me whenever you want. This is when I'm going to reply to you. But also moving into now where Jared is also working from home and we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, he's home on the weekend and we have to spend time together. So it's like, oh, we can just both do whatever the fuck we want. It's so much better.
Such a difference.
Yeah.
I think you have to be able to uphold a boundary, but then you get to a point where you can choose to
absolutely like, and
I feel like it's good to have the ability to put a boundary in place if you need it, but like you can also cross it if you need it.
Yeah.
100%. How do you then, like, how much of your work would you say is creative or?
Yeah, some definitely has to be creative, like purely because at the end of the day, I do still have social media contracts. Like that's one thing I think everyone sees me as like the gym, the coach, like they know I've got sponsors, but like recently this year, my sponsors actually pay like good money now. So you have like obligations that you have to hit. Like, I don't know if people know that like sponsors you don't just get paid. Like, you actually have to do shit. So I've definitely had to be more creative. It's probably where I struggled the most because I'm good with like systems and processes where now, like for instance, an example, Clean Health Fitness Institute. I make 4 videos a month for Clean Health. That's like just a bit of a contract that we have. I just pay Jackson. He's a videographer that I work with. I pay him my entire Clean Health salary. Like I don't even take a cent from them. I just fully give it to him and he does all my content plus a little bit extra. So like I'm getting a bit of a benefit there. And we just meet up one day a month, and I have like all the scripts ready, and we just film everything in one go, and he just edits it and then sends it back to me, and then I just send it to them. So it's like I've kind of like tried to streamline my creative side of things as well, so that I can just get it done. Because if I'm sitting there like trying to be creative every day and like come up with whatever, it's hard for me. So I'm like, I need to just, and I feel like there's a balance act. Like, when was it? Maybe like a couple months ago, while I was building Zone, I was in like a really creative stage, and I was like posting a lot of like daily vlogs, and like they were edited really coolly and stuff like that. But my business was dropping because I wasn't in that analytical side of things, like sitting just working. But I was being super creative, but I was making no fucking money. So I was like, fuck this. And then I like switched back. So I think it's finding a good balance. But yeah, I'm creative when I need to be, but I can't be creative every day consistently. So I like to set time aside for it. I'm super creative in that time. I write all my own scripts. I do all my own like scening really with a little bit of help from him, and then he just films and edits it, and then good to go.
I think it's also like knowing what you're good at and what you enjoy and outsourcing the rest.
100%.
It was the best thing I ever did. Like I literally messaged him last week, and I was like, I'm going to double our retainer just because I need more content, and I could definitely film it myself. I own all the cameras. I own all the lights. Like I have everything, but I just can't be fucked. I'm not going to do it if I leave it to myself. So
it takes up less brain space if someone's doing it for you. Like,
outsourcing is like what you just said. I know I'm not the best at that, so I'll just outsource it and go from there.
Yeah, and there's a difference between I want to improve this skill and I'm not good at it versus like these are my responsibilities and my roles and this is what makes me money. Like whereas I feel like a lot of women would be opposite in the way of like the creativity, like that's my zone and I'm going to outsource the other shit that I don't want to do.
Yeah, 100%.
I fucking love that. Oh, well, I'm conscious of your time and like the studio. Is there anything you wanted to wrap up on?
We can keep going, whatever you guys want.
I'm trying to read that screen. I'm like, my fucking eyes are so bad.
I feel like we've covered most of our questions. We have
covered everything.
I feel like this has been a very solid conversation.
I'm very excited to edit this, actually. Yeah. Oh, you already asked the last question.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
No, I don't think
we did good. Well, is there anything that like from having a potentially different perspective of conversation that you want to share or advice that you want to give or?
I don't know. Maybe like advice is what literally back what we said at the start of the podcast of like where we had the conversation. We're like, oh, we should just open a gym, and we're like, oh yeah, like just do it. Like I'm now, without sounding a dickhead, but like quote unquote, like it's probably the most sought after gym on the Gold Coast right now. Like
easily,
like everyone wants to come here. And it was just that one decision where we're like, oh fuck, like let's try it and like see how it goes. Like I think just anyone that is thinking of business or like thinking of wanting to do something, like just do it, right? And then that's number one, like just fucking do it. Like it's either gonna work or it's not, but like just keep trying. And then the second is like mentors and people helping you. Like it is such a cheat code
100%.
to success, and people do not realize it. I've got a coach that coaches me. I literally have a sporting exercise science degree. Like I know what I'm fucking talking about, but I have a coach that's coaching me. Business, like I've built a couple successful businesses. I've got a business coach. Every 2 weeks we have a 1 hour phone call and I action all the things that he tells me to do. Like I have someone in that space. Like it's such a cheat code. So whenever you can buy a course or like do something or work with someone or learn from someone that actually specializes in that thing, just fucking do it, because whatever it costs, you're going to make 10x that over the next 5 years. Like
easily.
Over the next 5 years, not in the next 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, long game always.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is like I'm so big on the mentorship coach. Like
Same. Well, yeah, we both are. 100%.
Yeah, and I think all three of us inherently, we also offer that to the other people. But the only reason we offer and do it is because we know how much value it provides, because we get it from other people. It's like kind of just a train going down. But you once you believe in it and you see it actually works, you can offer it as well.
Yeah. We listened to separately your episode with your business mentor, and I love what he said about coaching down the line. I was like, that is the best way to explain it. Like
100%.
it is a chain of information, and why would you not collapse 5 years of someone's mistakes? And not from a place of this is going to make sure I make no mistakes, but like
100%. And it's
just like speed up the process, really.
Yeah, it's just having someone to like slightly guide you in which direction is going to be best. Like it's because, man, we had I had this guy come to my house for dinner, and he sold his company when he was 27 for like 180 million US, right? Like crazy money.
Like I'm 27.
Yeah, like crazy money, right? And he's so smart guy, helped me out a lot. And I was at this point where I was like, I didn't know which direction to go with Zone and like what to do. I was like, it's working, but like, do I do this or do I do this? Or like, what the fuck do I do? And literally just sitting on my couch, we're like just chilling. He was like, bro, you should just do this and like do it bang, bang, bang. And people had been telling me that before. Like he wasn't the first one to say that. But because he was successful and he had like a shit ton of money and he had a shit ton of success in business, I took his opinion. I was like, like, okay, maybe I should try it. And I did. And it changed the trajectory of where Zone is now. Like Zone wouldn't be as good as what it is right now if it wasn't for that like little decision. Like maybe 10 people had told me it before he told me it. Yeah. But it was only his opinion that I took seriously because he had the track record of trust and like I was bought into him. But same, like that's kind of what it is with the mentors is like they can literally guide that one decision because they have the trust and the proof that will change your entire business. Like you could choose to go that way or that way and it's going to change. That one's going to fail. That one's going to be successful. It's the same business, but that one decision can completely change the outcome. And I think that's where the mentors come into play is like they've almost been at the end of each of those roads and they know which decision is going to send you down which path. And
I think also the fact that they're not emotionally attached to your business. They're a complete outside, unbiased perspective.
Yeah, like we all treat our businesses as like our baby. It's like you don't like, man, I was squeezing so hard on some of the aspects with Zone to the point where my business partner was just saying, maybe we should change this. And I was like, fuck no, like this is what we're doing. And then when someone from completely the outside said it, I was like, oh, maybe that's actually the right decision. And then like kind of let go a little bit and more success came. And I was like, oh,
that's on trusting people you listen to. It's not what someone says, it's who they are when they say it. Right? Absolutely. Like 100%. Resonance is everything. Brody, my fiance tells me all the time, he's like, I fucking told you that. I'm like, yeah, but
it was
you know what? Yeah. It's like it's also though comes down to like you're not always going to listen to your friends and your family, right? Because they haven't done the thing. They don't have the successful business. They don't have the track record. But like a mentor that does, that makes X amount of dollars and has fucked up 10 times. Like Jared's the same. He'll be like, I told you to do that. And I'm like, yeah, but they told me to do that and I trust them more, which is so wild. But 100%. Like,
it's the same with Lily. Like, she'll come to me with like some business stuff. And I was like, I've done what you wanted to do. Like, I was like, I know what fucking works. Like, just listen to me. And like, she won't listen to me. Then 2 weeks later, someone else will say the exact same fucking thing and she'll do it. I'm like, what? But I think it's good. Like, it's good to not just listen to the people super close to you because a lot of the people close to you will just be those yes men where it's like, do that, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, sometimes you don't need that.
That was Jared and I when he started his business. I was like, I can give you everything that you need to market your business. Like, this is literally what I do. And he was like, yeah, okay, cool, but like not really, didn't really care, kind of brushed it, whatever. And then I was like, do this. I don't want to do that. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, you need to go out and get your own mentor.
Someone else
to tell you. Because I'm like, you're not going to listen to me and that is so fine. Like it's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
And
that's why it's got to be someone that you trust that's done the thing you want to do.
100%.
To then guide you down
Someone's got the track record.
And there's something behind as well, investing.
Yeah.
Like, yes. When you put, it's the same as like
you've got more, what's the, like
buy-in,
attachment, whatever you call it. When
people
you
that spend,
actually spend,
or they invest in a coach or a more expensive boutique gym, like they're more likely to turn up and go than they're fucking $18 a week Anytime Fitness because they're more bought in. They're invested.
I can tell you the people here at Zone pay over $100 a week and none of them miss any sessions. Like everyone's always training when they need to train. So.
Yeah, invest. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. That was good.
Thanks. Amazing.
Done.
I know we don't have to clap at the end, but too bad.